Booktube, it's Louise, the big head bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day, wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. Hello, how are you? Are you having a good day? Today is Friday, the 25th of January, and it's very lovely to see you. Thank you for stopping by my little corner. It's not really even a corner, is it? My little blip of the internet. How lovely to see you. So, first of all, I should give you a weather update. It's grey. It's grey. It rained this morning. Oh, I can see a lady stood chatting on the phone over there in that house that I talked about last time, who had bath sheets out, bath towels. I think they were of the bath sheet variety. They were large, although there was a hand towel there as well. She's obviously stood in the window having a chat on her phone. How very lovely. Nice to see you. Wearing a bright red jumper, which is why I could spot her. No laundry out today. It was raining this morning. Only a fool would have put it out this morning, and I can tell you these people are not fools. So we've got no laundry out. Although we had a tiny little cold snap where we had some good frosty days. I mean, by Canada standards, it was not a cold snap, but it was by Cambridgeshire standards. It was like, whoa, it's a bit chilly. It's -2. Well, it actually got down to -5. Oh, didn't go out. But yeah, and they hung out, people over there, socks, a couple of pair of underpants, and they were definitely underpants, and again, a towel. It's obviously the towels. I was amazed last week about people's reactions to my laundry segment. I don't think I'm alone in being fascinated by other people's laundry, considering all the responses I got. Yes. Could this be a regular feature? I don't think so. You will lose interest. I won't. No. I love it. But you will lose interest. I'll stop looking. Stop looking. So yes. So how are you? Have you had a good week? Has it been an exciting week here? No, but not unexciting. Not unexciting. Got a nice day today because the husband has got a half day. So he's coming home. And rather than one of those half days where he comes home and then we don't do anything and then Benedict comes home and it's just like a normal day, he said, let's go out for lunch. So yes, so how exciting is that? So it's felt like this Friday is magical. Because the husband is coming home and we're going to go out for lunch, just the two of us. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us, you and I. Yes, it's the two of us. I won't sing at him. I'm like a human jukebox, I really am. Anything you say, I probably can have a song to it. But I won't sing at him, although he's very used to it. So it was just the two of us. So what are we going to talk about? I don't know. Obviously, we'll talk about Benedict and the cats, what I've been reading. That'll be it. That's what we'll talk about. So that's exciting. So we're going out for lunch. That's a bit of magic for today. I always like to look for a little bit of magic in a day. What did I look for in the magic yesterday? Was there any magic yesterday? There will have been. Oh, I know. Now. I got a new winter coat. So I struggle with winter coats. I struggle with coats full stop. This is not book related, and you are welcome to fast forward me at this point. But I'm not fortunate in the coat jacket department because I have long arms. So I'm tall for a woman. I'm not weirdly tall. I am just taller than average. So my issue with coats is that the arms are not long enough. So if I do that, just a normal reach, I get loose and it goes down to there, which, you can cope with. But in a winter coat on a cold day or a rainy day, that's really annoying. And it's it's like my pet peeve is not having long enough sleeves. I don't like it. Get cold. It's like not having the cover, but your back covered. Oh, hate it. Anyway, so any coat. And the other thing is shoulders. They cannot be wide enough. And if I get bigger, so the shoulders are wide, then it tends to be all two blues on it. Anyway, the arm length is a real issue. And I know it's because I'm slightly above average height, and what happens is if you're taller, your arms get longer. Because in proportion. If I had short arms, I look like a T-Rex. So I struggle with that. So I end up getting blokes jackets and coats, which means that if it's wide enough round at the hip to do up, sleeves will be long and then it tends to be all blues on here because I'm a girl and so I have hips more than a boy does. So I'm making myself sound really bizarre. I'm not. I'm just kind of normal woman shape, but that isn't what normal bloke shape is, it? No. Anyway, so blokes, I quite often have to have blokes anoraks and jackets and that kind of stuff, but they don't fit as well. So it's a tricky one and one I put off. And I had a winter coat that had the most appalling zip. So there's a particular company in the UK that has for years, I've been shopped at for years, who specialise in clothing for tall women, which is great, and they understand the proportions and what have you, but not always the best quality. What you do have to, I'm sorry, but they're not good quality, and where it really shows is their zips, and so their zips break really easily. And a winter coat, sat down, the zip broke. I tried to go and get another zip put in, like a sturdier zip, and they said, no, the way the coat was constructed, it just wasn't possible. So I've lived for like 2 winters with a coat that if I sit down, the zip breaks, or if I bend down, the zip breaks. So basically I could stand and do it up, or I could undo it and sit down, which is just a pain in the bum, quite frankly. But I've lived with it because that's how much I hate going shopping for coats, and I am going on about this, but never mind. Anyway, I found on Wednesday, I got a winter coat. It's not hugely puffy or anything like that, but I got a winter coat that, long enough arms, does zip up, sit down, doesn't break everything, and it was in the sale. That was Wednesday's magic. And it came in a variety of colours. I could have chosen any colours. I got black. But there were other colours there. Oh, I was so thrilled. So yesterday I went out in my new coat. And the whole time I went to the supermarket, but the whole time I was out in my new coat, I was doing that thing where I'm wearing a new coat. You know how children, when they get like a new shoes or new coat or something like that, they stand in a particular way so that you notice them. You go, oh, that's a nice coat. And they go, oh, it's new. I was doing that all day yesterday. The whole of the shopping trip had this kind of new coat glow to it. And as I was walking around, I was like, I'm wearing a new coat. Oh, yeah. It made my day. Honestly, I was driving in the car thinking, I'm driving in my new coat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, me, yesterday, new coat. And do you know what I'm going to wear today when we go out? I'm going to wear my new coat. I will take my new coat off, put it back of the chair, but I'll be sat there with my new coat. It's going to make today even more magical. It really is. And I'm talking on about my new coat. And so, yes, yesterday was magical because I was out shopping in my new coat. I could have just walked around letting people see me in my new coat. I mean, it's a black coat. I mean, nobody else would look at it and go, that's amazing. But to me, long enough sleeves, zip that does up, I was warm and toasty in my new coat. Oh, it was glorious. It was such a good day. Such a good day that was. Made my day, it did. Yes, so there we are. That was yesterday's magic. Today's magic is lunch with the husband in my new coat. Weekend, I don't know what we're going to do, but it will feature my new coat at some point. And I will feel so pleased in my new coat. So yes, that's been a great week. Apart from that, I can't remember what else has happened this week. I've done lots of reading. Yes, because that's why you're here, really. Isn't it? Yes. Yes. This is... Actually, I completely forgot what I was going to say then. You've not come here to listen to me talk about my coat and my magical week. You have, really, haven't you? What you've come here to talk about is reading and all the books. So, yes, this is Friday Reads. So, Friday Reads, it's Friday Reads. I've got a new coat and I'm very pleased about it. It's Friday Reads. Hello! Hello, BookTube. This is my weekly podcast where I come and I talk about the books that I have read this week and read with both my eyes and my ears. So I feature audio books as well. And I tell you about what I thought of them and the books that I am thinking about buying or thinking about reading next week. Yes. Hello, how are you? Let's talk about what I read. I read loads this week. So I finished off my third in the series, Caressed by Ice by Nalini Singh. Paranormal, steamy romance. Very good. Knocked that one off, no worries. I have bought The next one, Mind to Possess. Side Changeling, Paranormal Steamy Romance by Nalini Singh. That's the 4th in the series. So I shall be reading this at some point this week. I read 3 back to back and I thought, whew, just need a little bit of a break. But I have the 4th on there and I shall read that this week. So that's that good. What else did I finish? I finished my audiobook of 450 from Paddington by Agatha Christie. That's not a surprise, is it? It was narrated by not Joan Hickson. It was narrated by Amelia Fox. Yes, and she did a mighty fine job of it, actually, I have to say. It was a really nice narration. I really enjoyed it. And I had forgotten. I haven't read, either with my eyes or with my ears, for this book for quite some time. But I've seen lots of adaptations of it. So there is the Joan Hickson one. There is Geraldine McEwen. She did one. That's a very good one, as is the Joan Hickson one. There's also a Margaret Rutherford one, I'm sure, which I actually have kind of secret love for. I'm sure she did for. I think that was the first one I ever saw. So I haven't read this for ages, and I'd forgotten that something that is always wrapped up in the adaptations isn't wrapped up in this book. And I'd forgotten that, and that was really good. When I got to the end, I went, oh! It was like a little surprise, considering how well I know the story. I do know the story very well. That I'd forgotten the deviation from it, so that was really pleasurable. So I finding a book anew in some way. So yeah, this is this lovely naked hardback edition by HarperCollins. Look at that. Lovely end paper. So yes, it's that edition. So I finished that. So I listened to another whole one, which I said I was going to, I think. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I listened to all of that. I think there are pluses and minuses for it. I love her voice, and I do like authors when they can narrate, when they can actually read their books well. I really like it. I really like, because you get what they want to convey, and it was a really pleasurable experience listening to her narrate. Whatever you think about her, she can narrate beautifully. There were things against it. I love her idea of creativity as the idea of ideas going around and coming to you, finding you. So it not being created by your own genius. You have like the idea of the Greeks is that you have a genius rather than you are a genius. And ideas coming to you and you grab them or you use them, and that if you don't, they go off and find somebody else, and that kind of connectivity between all people. I love that idea, and the energy flowing. Completely go with that. She is very definite about other things. I love the fact that she is so just go and do it, and that having something creative in your life enriches your life. I completely, for somebody that is always doing something. And funnily enough, I don't consider myself a particularly creative person. I never would ever kind of describe myself as that. And yet I'm always knitting or crocheting or cross-stitching, my new obsession, or cooking, or, that I am always, yet I wouldn't have actually said that I was particularly a creative person. But I suppose I am in her definition. So that was quite fascinating, and I really liked it. There were bits that irritated me, I have to say. Yes, there were bits that I found really quite. All her favourite people, her friends and her close buddies, are all names. There's a lot of name dropping, but I think that's perhaps her circle. I don't know whether it is, and she is obviously somebody that loves people and loves interaction and lives for however much she's a writer and she likes to retreat, she gets so much from being with people and interaction with people and knowing about people, and that's very much her way. She has a journalistic background, and so she does that thing where she does all quotes all the time from people, from Marcus Aurelius and just there's so many quotes like Dylan Thomas and this kind of stuff, or constant quoting from poetry or what other people have said and that kind of stuff did great on me. But then again, it's that kind of book. So there were big things that I did have an issue with, but the actual listening to it and pleasurable experience, I found it a completely pleasurable experience. And so, it has been super popular, both as a print book and as an audio. So I would love to hear what you think about it, whether you're a fan of Elizabeth Gilbert or not. And I know that there are some people that are very much not a fan. And she does allude to that. She alludes to the fact that she obviously gets right up people's noses. And people really don't like her. And there are some ways that she's very much like, well, just get over it, And you could tell that actually some of it really grated on her, and she's had to work very hard not to be quite so sanguine about it. I don't believe that when people were saying these things, she was quite so sanguine as she's suggesting she is. But then I completely understand why her game face is, just get over it and move on. And that's what everybody's a critic and that kind of stuff. So it was quite fascinating. So I'd love to hear if you have read it or listened to it, what you thought of it. It would be really interesting to compare and contrast. And maybe, you'll spark off ideas in me, which is the whole thing. So that'd be good. So yes, if you have. I am now listening to, I've downloaded Rising Strong by Brené Brown, because previously we didn't have many of those available through Audible. But when I went to look, I think there's her last 3 books are all available on audio. So I might well go through those. So yes, Rising Strong, I've got that on Audible to start listening to. I really like kind of knitting or crafting or that kind of stuff, listening to something like that. I do like a non-fiction audio, as well as I like fiction audios. I do like that. A book that I haven't shown for ages that I did suddenly pick up is going to be difficult to show. Here we are, Strange Magic by Sid Moore, which is an Essex Witch Museum mystery. So this is a mystery. It's a contemporary mystery, rather than one of my cosy crimes. Excuse me. The Only Way is Witchcraft instead of The Only Way is Essex. It's set in Essex, but she does go around the country because she goes down to Boscastle to visit the Cornish Witch Museum, which is down in Boscastle, which I think we haven't actually been in. We've been outside it about 5 times, and it was closed more than once. And then the last time can't remember why we didn't go in. Maybe we didn't have enough time. Anyway, we will be going into it, I'm sure, at some point. So that was really good. And then she goes to Plymouth, and then she goes to London, and then she goes back to Essex. And it is a mystery featuring Rosie Strange, who suddenly her grandfather dies and leaves her this witch museum in Essex. And she is a benefit fraud officer, and she basically is going to try and sell it and get as much money as she can for it. Goes down there and gets embroiled in a mystery, which is really good fun. She has a sidekick who is working there called Sam Stone. And it says, a man Rosie can't decide if he's tiresomely annoying or extremely captivating. And so there is this kind of push-pull relationship between them, as well as this mystery and the witchcraft and all the discussions about witchcraft. It was really enjoyable. I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I flew through it. I think it was the right book for me at that time. I think I just happened to catch the moment that I thought, oh, I haven't read that book. I shall read it. And so I picked it up, and I think it was because of the cover, because you see my earrings are skulls. I think I just saw it and thought, that's the book for me right at this moment. And so I read it and I flew through it. I really enjoyed it. It's not without faults, like many of these books, but I forgave all of them. My main thing is that I wasn't sure how much I liked Rosie Strange. I found her a little bit irritating, and and the way that the mystery was put was improbable and implausible in every way. But I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that. I loved the idea of the Essex girl. I really thought that was a fascinating. There was actually discussion about the stereotype, because there is a real stereotype. When I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was a real stereotype about what the Essex girl was. And that's really just, it's discussed and pulled apart in this novel. And I really liked that. I thought it was so much fun. And Sid Moore was not afraid to muck around with that in such an affectionate way. I think she's an Essex girl, and I think that's where it's come from. So it was really, really good. So I enjoyed many things. I liked the witchcraft. I liked witchcraft. I liked the magic. I liked a lot of the discussions in there. Rosie was a bit irritating, but not because of her Essexness, just the other stuff in there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did really enjoy it. This is the first in the series. I don't know what the second one's called. I can't remember. Here we are. Strange Sight. Strange Sight is the second one. So if I saw it, I would probably pick it up. But as much as anything for the look of it. Gorgeous. That was really enjoyable. So yeah. So that's it. I finished both my audiobook and my the Strange Magic. Oh, I had a bit of a blank then. Yesterday, and I didn't pick up another one, so I kind of think I am going to. Oh, I did start. I completely lied to you then. I do apologise. I am reading Agnes Moore's Wild Night, which is a short novel come novella by Alicia Cole. So, and I'm reading that on my Kindle. So it is a historical romance that I gather is a little bit steamy. I think Alicia Cole is a woman of colour, and her protagonist most definitely is Agnes Moore. So I'm liking it so far. But I have only read the first kind of 20 pages or something, but it's very short, so I will imagine I shall finish that in the next day or two, just as a bit of fun. And then I am going to also be reading Low Country: Brexit on the Essex Coast by Tom Bolton, because I want to get to that. I want to get to that while everybody's talking about Brexit. I think we're going to be talking about Brexit for quite a few years, but there's so much discussion about it at the moment. I do want to have a little read of that. Essex again. And I think that's the other thing. I'm thinking, oh, it's Essex. And I've just read a book about Essex, so I shall do that. That's it, really. I just want to briefly say something, because you know that if you've been with my channel for any length of time, you know that I do yarn chat videos, which are my videos where I talk about my knitting and crochet and other crafting adventures. So I haven't done one since November. And I've had one or two people say, "Are you going to do them again?" And yes, I am going to do them again. The format I was doing them in was very much the standard knitting podcast format, and it doesn't fit me, and that's what's stopping me doing it, because it's very you talk about this first, and then you talk about that, and you talk about this, and I was happily going along and doing what is the standard thing to do, and it wasn't fitting me, because I like to do the videos that I like to produce. So like this, this is, lots of people do different kinds of wrap-ups and monthly wrap-ups. The traditional thing in BookTube is that you would do a monthly wrap-up. But that doesn't work for me. The weekly chat that we have here, hopefully it works for you as well, but it does for me. This suits me. This kind of format suits me perfectly, and I can do it. I can commit to it, and I can do it every week, and I enjoy doing it every week, even more importantly. And I hope that enjoyment comes across to you. So with the yarn chats, although I enjoyed it when I was recording it, I found them unwieldy and just not suiting me. So I am thinking about altering it to suit me, and then it will become my own, and then I will enjoy it and I will want to do it. And what I'm thinking of doing is I'll do a shorter but weekly chat, very similar to this, but it will be about my yarn adventures in the yarny world. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be called yet or anything like that, but I am going to be doing that. The other thing I wanted to say was there's been a lot of discussion in the knitting world, especially on Instagram, about the lack of representation and diversity. It's white women. So if you're not into that kind of thing, you won't know this, but it's very white woman dominated. So the big designers are white women, and in all the magazines, it's white women, and it's got a very small palette of people involved. And the discussion started with somebody who's big in the world making a crass blog post that people very rightly pulled out and said, I'm sorry, but that is stunningly racist, which is a hard thing for anybody to hear about themselves. When I imagine that she's very much like, I'm not racist. I'm a liberal-minded woman. I'm not like that. So it has set off all this kind of rumblings in the knitting world, and I have been watching it and not responding to it, but I will respond to it in the yarn chat. But it made me realise that we had this discussion in the booktube world, but it was a couple of years ago, and there was lots of discussion about diversity and reading people's, looking beyond the white male, white woman world, that we can find ourselves, just talking about from my perspective, you can find yourself going for what people that look like you inadvertently. And although I do read, I read a wide variety of people, different types of genres and different types of books, and I look for it. It's very white dominated, and it's very white woman, I suppose, as well, because that's a voice that I recognise, and I haven't been putting myself out of my comfort zone. I'm feeling uncomfortable having this conversation because I don't want it to be anything about, it's what, you do. But it struck me that we had this conversation in BookTube, big time, lots of booktubers, there was, lots of discussion about it. And it's all gone quiet again. And I'm not seeing the discussion anymore. I'm not seeing people championing different perspectives. We've gone back to what's comfortable, I wonder. That's what it seems like to me. I'm not big in the booktube world. I mean, I'm a very, 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 very small little voice. And I just wanted to say that I have realised that I haven't doing in a very, very, very small way, I haven't been doing my bit. And I need to do some of the work as well. And just being aware of what my choices are, I think, is what I want to say. So I just wanted to just flag that up a little bit, because it's been very much part of my mind, and this is my kind of like weekly chat. Oh my lord, how long have I gone? Oh, I do apologise. So I just wanted to flag it up and just say, I'm thinking about this, and if you're thinking about this too, then let me know. Or if you have any thoughts about it, please keep them, as I know you will, respectful. But yeah, I don't know what I can do, but I can look at my choices in a more informed way, perhaps. We'll see. That's just what I'm thinking about at the moment. I just thought I'd let you know. I'd let you know what's on my mind, whether you're interested or not. But there we go. That's it. That's it, BookTube. Thank you so much. If you have managed to sit until the end of this, whether I've been chatting to you whilst you've been having your breakfast, or having a nice cup of tea, or a large glass of wine at the end of the day, very nice too. I hope it's been a pleasant chat for you as well. It's been very nice for me sitting here and chatting with you on my magical Friday. My husband is still at work. He'll be leaving work in about an hour and a half. And then he'll come home and we'll go out for lunch. Hey, that sounds very nice. So, yes, stop talking, Louise. I shall. This has been lovely, BookTube. Let's do it again.